Your madness is your greatness. Your weirdness is your genius. You may beat yourself up about being who you are because maybe you compare yourself to other people in society and you feel like maybe you're weird or you do things differently or perhaps people pick on you or you're used to judging yourself because you don't do things the way people do it. But what you have to realize is this uniqueness is what makes you you. This is your superpower. The way you do things differently, the way you think differently, the way you eat differently, you dress differently, you express differently. This is your unique expression of the divine source energy of divine God manifested through you. It doesn't make sense for you to live your life trying to be like someone else or to be like something else. Yes, you could get inspired by people who resonate with your inner self because you may see somebody do something and feel like, wow, I like that. I can look up to this person. I like the way they think. I like the way they act. And you resonate with it because you are of like vibration. But this does not mean that you have to copy them or be exactly like them. You will be your own version of that expression when you tap into your deeper self. It's like how we all grow up and we learn the alphabets, right? You learn how to write A, B, C, D, and so on. But each person has their own way of writing it. Each person develops their own handwriting. And in the same way, we learn words, but each person develops their own way of using those words to express, be it in writing essays, be it in speaking, or be it in writing poetry, or so on and so forth. The problem is we tend to grow up in societies where we are told to conform. Our educational system tries to make us uniform. And if you grew up in Africa like me, you grew up going to middle school and start wearing uniforms, going to assembly, marching in a particular way, making sure you obey the rules and so on and so forth. Of course, this has its place in the structure. I'm not saying it's entirely wrong. Everything has a purpose and it can serve its purpose. What I'm saying is that the system tries to monochrome us. It tries to beat out our uniqueness out of us. And it sets standards on what is best and what is worst and what we are supposed to live up to and who we are supposed to be. So in situations like that, somebody perhaps is made an example of the ideal human or the ideal student, and people who don't fit that frame are probably put at the bottom and are shamed. And what happens with that is if you are that kind of person, you will beat yourself up. And beating yourself up is like beating your uniqueness out of you. So then, what makes you unique, your genius, what makes you weird, is something that people will start picking up on and start making fun of you. And if you're not strong enough and you cannot embrace this beautiful thing about your uniqueness, you would conform so that you can be accepted. And once you conform and you begin to change who you are so you can be accepted, you're beginning to kill yourself slowly. You're killing your uniqueness. You see, you were made the way you were made for a particular reason. There are no accidents. God, the divine source energy, divine infinite intelligence, made you specifically how you are, with your specific nose, your specific eyelashes, your specific hair, teeth, your specific expressions, how you feel, how you walk, your specific bone structure and everything, because you were supposed to be that specific person to offer something specific and something unique to the world. It could have made you into any other body. It could have made you alike. It could have made all of us the same. But what's the fun in that? What's the fun in that lack of diversity? Diversity, they say, is the spice of life because diversity introduces something new into the game. If you try to be like somebody else, you are not adding any flavor to, the soup of life. Imagine if you're making food and the only flavor you have is salt. So salt is what you put in the soup all around. It won't allow the flavors to be able to come out. It will be very basic, but when you're making something like a delicious soup or a meal, you see that you have a little bit of thyme, a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of different herbs, and so many different things. And when they all come together, it allows it to be flavorful and vibrant. This is how life is. So, this is why it's important for you to stay unique. It's important for you to embrace your uniqueness. It's important for you to embrace your madness, even what is seen as your madness. Your madness is relative to what people are seeing as not being mad. And in societies where we're forced to conform and we're used to um, living the same so that you can live in society and be accepted, madness is slowly kicked out. So when you start thinking differently and you start like acting differently or seeing things differently, you start expressing it, people may look at you like, no, he's mad. But if you look at some of the greatest inventors we've had, those geniuses that we call them, they're all mad to a certain extent. People like the Steve Jobs and the Einsteins and you know whoever you may even look up to as a genius. You realize that there is some madness within them. And what we're calling madness is not necessarily a negative thing. For me, it's like thinking outside the box. And that thinking outside the box is coming because they are embracing their uniqueness. They are standing firm in that confidence that no, this is how I see it, so this is how I'm going to approach it. And that stance to be so brave to express themselves in that way is what allows new things to come forth. Because if these people didn't think differently, if the different inventors didn't think about things differently, their inventions wouldn't have come about. And I'm sure a lot of these people were ridiculed when they were going through that process, but they stuck to who they were. They stuck to um, their true, authentic selves, and they let genius flow within them. So what I want you to see is we're all geniuses, or I should say, we all have genius living within us, and we all have the ability to channel genius through our actions. That genius can only be channeled when we live authentically, when we embrace our uniqueness, when we embrace our weirdness. Because when you embrace your weirdness, it's like you're saying to the universe, okay, I am going to be who I was meant to be. You're saying to God, thank you for making me who I am. You're saying to source energy, I embrace who I am. I embrace the perfection in how I was made, all the imperfections within that perfect being that makes me who I am. I embrace that and I'm ready to live that. And when you do that, you open the pathways for source energy, for God to provide to you the different components that allow you to shine your light. We are all lights, right? But you cannot be a blue light wanting to shine red light. If you were made to shine blue light, it wouldn't work. You would just tire yourself out, and you wouldn't be able to give the world the blue light that you came here to give in the way in which you were made to give it. So you have to embrace your uniqueness. You have to embrace your madness. You have to embrace your weirdness and realize that your greatness lives within this embrace. You can only touch your greatness or access your greatness when you begin from that embracing, when you begin from that standpoint of, I am who I am, and that is enough. And once you start from that point, you develop that self-love and self-acceptance. Things will begin to align and you begin to express yourself, and you will show the world your uniqueness. You will give the world something special. And when you give the world something special, something unique, you will be rare. And what do we know about rare things? Rare things have high value. So each and every one of you is rare. Each and every one of you is very valuable. But that value that you intrinsically had, you will not be able to discover it, and you will not be able to express it and use it and give it to the world if you don't start by embracing who you are. If you don't start by embracing your weirdness, your crookedness, your imperfections, your madness. This is your greatness, and this is your superpower. It is your superpower because you are the only one in the world. You are the only one out of 8 billion people on this earth who can do what you can do, who can be who you are, who can express the way you express. So don't waste too much time trying to be like somebody else. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself fully, because this is how you're able to tap into your greatness. This is how you begin to get onto the path of unleashing your greatness. And as long as you're able to stay on this consistently, your greatness will just continue to unfold, and that self love will develop, and so on and so forth. And you can even, through that process, help others and bring value to others. This is who you are here to be. If there's one thing you are here to be in this life, is to be yourself, is to be your true authentic self unapologetically. So if you want to discover your superpower, if you want to discover your greatness, tap into your weirdness, embrace your madness, and you will find greatness there.